Let's do this thing.
So starting in your chair and sitting in a chair for chair yoga practice might be a little bit different than how you ordinarily sit in your chair. It asks us to sit a little bit more forward rather than slinking back and getting all comfy. Not to say that you can't be comfortable. So first, just find how you want to be in your seat. You might shift your weight a little left and right, figuring out how you want your body to be resting in your chair. And same with your feet. You can walk them a little bit wider. Notice how that feels. You could walk them a little closer. As you do that, start to notice what feels like your preferred choice. Because in this practice, there's no right or wrong. In this practice, I will give you so much choice that I might sound wishy-washy. And that's so that you can start to listen to your body. Start to listen to your body and notice what you feel and start to discern your own preference, your choice, your voice. So figuring out simply what you would rather do, what you want to do, as opposed to, am I doing this right? What should I be doing? Does that make sense? I hope so. So now that you've got your legs situated, start to roll up onto your toes and come back down. Just finding a little bit of movement coming forward onto your toes and coming back down. And in a way, we're waking up the ankles, right? Finding a little movement there. You might also feel this in your calves, the back sides of your lower legs. I know I do. Notice what else you feel. Do you feel a little shaky in your legs? Or maybe stable? In this sense, we're mindfully checking in. So we're noticing what's what, free from judgment or criticism. It's just simply acknowledging and noticing. Rest your feet for a moment. You notice any kind of reverberating movement or sensation you feel. This one was essentially the opposite of that. Lift your toes up off the ground so you're more so on your heels and lower down. So lifting your toes and lowering down. And this you might still feel in your calf muscles, perhaps also now too in the front of your ankles, your shins. Some of you might stay here. Some of you might like to add on the two. So coming high onto your toes, coming back down and lifting feet up, toes up. There's no right or wrong. We're just starting to get into the body, just starting to find some movement. Getting curious about what's there. Sometimes we move through life, through our days really fast, and we don't notice how we feel. This practice invites us to slow down, to notice, and take action from that place. Rest your feet, rest your legs. Getting into the shoulders now. Start to draw some circle-like movements with your shoulders. But also be curious if there's any other movement that you feel like you would like to take right now, maybe you do that. So you have a lot of options. Think about this as like that movement you first just start to take when you're waking up. So it could be shrugging your shoulders both at a time. It could even be one shoulder at a time. You can try both and then choose whichever one that you'd rather. You could even make something up or do something that I haven't specifically shared. That's also okay. Begin to rest your shoulders again and take a moment to see how that feels, how your shoulders feel. Bring your arms out by your sides. The palms can stretch forward if you'd like, and just start to reach out to the letter T. Let your arms come back down. So really small dynamic movement, lifting your arms, reaching, and lowering them back down. Get really curious and present to the sensations as they arise, right? So as you lift your arms, notice what there is to notice. And as you lower your arms, see what's there. For example, when you lift your arms, do you feel a sense of length through your sides and even under your arms? When you release your arms, do you feel a sense of letting go, release? We'll find this just a few more times. Invitation to move with your breath. That could be taking one part of your breath to lift your arms and the other part to lower your arms. It could be an inhale to lift. Maybe it's the opposite. However you're doing this, take two more. Lifting, releasing, lifting, and releasing. Allow your arms to simply rest by your sides, maybe on your lap. Notice in stillness how your arms feel. If they're asking for any movement, allow them that. You can gently shake your wrists, shake your arms, or even shrug the shoulders. Continue to ask yourself what would feel helpful or supportive, and feel free to take those natural movements. We'll add on. So adding on legs to the arms. First, let's do the familiar arm reach. So your arms can come out wide. You might stay at the T. If you'd like, you could experiment lifting your arms a little higher and just notice how that feels. Float your arms down by your side. Lift either leg. The knee can stay bent. Just lift your leg a little bit off of the ground. And lower it back down. Lift the arms again. Now you could continue to lift them out wide. If you'd like, you could reach straight in front of you. Either arms to shoulder height, maybe higher. And how you can know, lower your arms, which one or to what height you might want to lift your arms, just listen to your shoulders. If they get really tight, don't lift much higher. Lift your other leg now, just a little bit off of the ground, and lower it back down. So we're finding this alternating movement of lifting the arms, reaching, and releasing. And essentially doing the same thing with the leg. So whichever leg you started on, lift it up, lower it down, and reach up with your arms. Lower your arms down. Switching to your opposite leg, lift it up, breathe. And release your leg, reach your arms. You can alternate how you're lifting your arms, right? You could go out wide, they could go in front of you. You could stick with just one of them. Back on the leg you started, lift it up. We'll hold here for a moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower your leg. Lift your arms however you would like to. And lower down. The other leg, lift it up and hold here. You might even notice your core, notice your belly. Engage your core. It's almost that sense of squeezing or contracting your muscles, helping you to lift your leg. Lower it down. Last time here, lifting your arms. Stay with your arms lifted. If you can feel your shoulders turtling up, lower your arms a little bit. Permission to have your arms wherever it feels most supportive. Take one more breath. Your arms lifted. Slowly float them down. Shake your wrists off. Take your time. Any movement that feels like it needs to happen, allow that to happen. Choose which leg you'd like to start on and bring it forward. So your leg is extended in front of you. You might be on your heel. Just shake your leg a little bit at first. Let your leg come back to stillness and then press through your heel. So if you look down at your foot, you press through your heel, your toes are kind of coming back a little bit towards your shin. And you might start to feel a sense of lengthening, a stretch, or a gentle pull through the back side of your leg. We'll hold this for a few breaths. Get soft around your knee. If you feel any muscles clenching, see if you can allow them to soften. Take 3 more breaths here. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Now let go of the effort in your foot. And again, let your leg go a little left and right. You could even use your hand to kind of manually move your leg in that way. Finding a little rotation movement in your ankle. You can have your hands by your side or even on your chair. Start to just draw your ankle in a circle. You could do this with your foot on the ground. Sometimes it might feel more spacious to lift your leg. That could also be more effort though. So choose what you would rather do. This is your practice, your body. There's no right or wrong way, no shoulds. Move your ankle in both directions. Bring your leg back and just pause for a moment. Let all of that settle. Extend your other leg in front of you now. Leg is rested just straight on the ground. Use your hand or just move your leg left and right. Notice perhaps how that feels in your hip. Do you notice anything in your hip? Where do you notice sensation as you move your leg in this way? Back to stillness. This is where you'll start to press through your heel. Pressing through the heel. You might look down at your leg. Toes are coming back towards your shin just a little bit. Notice if you're clenching, if this is a little too much, give yourself permission to back off. We're not searching for anything in particular. We don't want this necessarily to be intense. The leg is simply engaged. Right? By pressing through your heel, you're engaging the muscles throughout the back side of your leg. Take 3 more full breaths here. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Release the foot, the leg, shake it out a little bit. Like on the other leg, we'll find some rotational movement to get into your ankle. So you can do that however you like. Foot might stay on the ground. You could have your hands on the side of the chair. Lift your foot. Maybe you sound like a Rice Krispie treat. Some snap, crackles, and pops as you move. Go the other way. Just finding a little movement. Let that go and bring your leg back to where it was. Noticing that leg. Noticing your leg, your ankle. Walk your feet a little bit wider. Not a lot, maybe just a little. If your chair has obvious legs, you can kind of look at them and see if you want to align your legs with them or go a little bit wider. For this, you don't want to be too far on the edge of your seat, so you might adjust yourself just a little, leaning forward into a really small fold. And so you're still seated upright, your legs just might be slightly further apart, leaning forward, your belly almost spilling over in front of you. Your hands can stay as they are on your thighs. Depending on how this feels in your low back, you might take different options. So if this feels like a lot, if you're feeling a fair bit of sensation in your back and your legs, you might stay exactly as you are. If you would like a little more, you could come down to a forearm or both forearms, essentially folding a little deeper, a little further. There's a chance you take that variation and feel like, that's a little more than what I want. If you do that, and that's the case, allow yourself to come back up to your palms. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths. Choose how you would like to be. See if there are any obvious points in your body that are clenching, that are holding. See if you can actively let go. If you can soften around those points of tension. If you can find a little more ease or softness. If you came down to forearms, come back so your palms are on your legs. Come up like you're doing a push-up. Push your hands into your legs and slowly come up. Take a moment before readjusting your legs just to stay here. Slowly bring your legs back together. If you'd like, you could straighten both of your legs for a moment and pedal them out, or shake them like we did earlier. Bring your legs back. So we focus primarily on lower body, upper body. Now taking a moment to get into the core, into your spine. Arch your back. So start to simply roll your shoulders forward, making a C-like shape with your body. And then slowly come back up to seated. And essentially you'll reverse that. Start to press your belly forward, your chest forward, finding a C-like shape, but now in the opposite direction. Back to being more seated, like neutral. And come back again into your forward C. So hands could go further down your thighs to your knees as you arch your spine. Rising back up to a neutral seat. Belly come forward, the chest to lift and curve. You might look up just ever gently. Tucking your chin as you come back to neutral. And so alternating in between these, curling forward. Maybe your chin comes in towards your chest. Rising slowly to neutral. Press the belly forward. Press and lift the chest. Maybe looking up. One or two more times in each of these shapes. Begin to make your way back through neutral and pause. Notice how you feel in your low back, your mid and upper. You can even notice how it feels around your abdomen, your belly. We'll do just one more thing before standing up, and that's lengthen through the sides of our body. Even just think for a moment about your sides, right? The sides of your body, where your ribs are. There's not a lot that we do, even in yoga, that stretches through the sides of our body and laterals. And so they're often really tight, especially when seated. And I don't know about you, but I've been home for 3 weeks. And so I've been sitting a lot more than usual. These little movements will help you find just a little bit of space. Start on whichever side you would like. Bring your hand either by the side of your chair, or you can even grasp your chair. Let your other arm reach out, similar like what we did earlier. Reach out, reach up, and then start to bend through your side. We're finding you could consider it like a banana shape or a half moon shape. Finding length through the side of the body. Slowly come back up. Let that hand come down. If it feels like it wants any movement, move it, shake your wrist, shrug the shoulder, you choose. Finding that on the other side, like you probably guessed. So first, situate that grounded hand, the hand that's going to stay down. You could grasp the side of your chair for added stability. Maybe it just presses down. Let your other arm slowly reach out towards the side and up towards the sky. Start to bend to the side. You could look down, especially if your neck feels a little funky or wonky. Look down towards the hand that stayed down. To come up, you might even press through the hand that's down. Press down and see if that changes anything. That feels helpful. A hand that was just lifted, give it a break. Either let it rest in stillness or give a little shake or shrug. Finding this a few more times on each side. And start to just find your own pattern, right? At your own pace, not necessarily moving when I move. Pressing down through your grounded hand on the chair, reaching up and actively reaching over, like you're reaching for something. And slowly coming out of it whenever that time comes for you. Any reset movement you would like. Maybe it's reset stillness. Simply finding that shape, that curve on the other side. As you're there, you might actively reach with your hand, like you're reaching for something. Gently coming up, letting the hand come back down. Take a moment and shake both of your wrists softly when you come back to neutral. And start to move your wrists in circles. Just finding just about like what we did earlier with the ankles. And if you've been moving your wrists in one way, go in the opposite. You might spread your fingers. Some people like to pop them. That feels all right. Go for it. And just small movement for your wrists or your fingers. All right. Time to stand up. Take your time coming up from your chair. You might bring your hands to your lap and press your feet down. Option 2, use your chair for stability, for balance. If you feel like you don't want it or you're unsure, just have it close by. And so you'll be standing behind your chair with the seat part away from you. And first, just stand with your hip facing the side of your chair. Take your feet a little bit wider apart and start to just shift your weight a little left and right. Your hands can be on your hip or not. We're just simply finding some movement. And it's okay if this feels awkward. Guess what? You're in your own home. No one sees you. It's all good. Notice how it feels though. When you move to the side, you might even just stay there and see how it feels on the outside of your hip. Go to the other side. I've already talked about this earlier. We're sitting a lot more. We're home. The hips aren't necessarily happy about that. Go to each side just one more time. Again, these are super small, gentle movements that you can really do any time of the day. Not even as like a full practice. You might just simply notice I've been sitting a lot, and so you might pull these tools out of your toolbox and use them. All right. Now we're going to turn to face the chair in front of you. And you'll step either of your legs back. You'll step one of your legs back, and it's a short pyramid that you're making with your legs. Check out your feet. When your feet are both facing forward, it simply just feels a little bit better in your knees. Notice as you're here, if you want to take your feet wider, or if your stance is too long, maybe you want to bring your feet closer together. Now you can use your chair in front of you, your hands on your chair for stability, for balance. Know that it's also an option, right? You don't have to. You could even have just one hand. So now that you've found your stance and your lunge, start to bend into your knee and come out of it. Doing this a few times, in a sense, saying, hey body, hey legs, I'm going to do a lunge. Warming up, preparing the body. With those few movements, you might notice you want to adjust your stance a little bit. I know I do. I'm going to take my stance just a little bit longer because my knee is going really far over my ankle. You might experience something like that as well, so freedom to adjust and to move. What we'll do is begin to simply continue that, really, moving in and out of your lunge and choosing where you would like your hands to be. We'll begin to slow this down. Begin to add on more time. So the next time you're in your forward lunge, when you have your knee bent, stay here. Press down through that front foot and notice what's happening to the leg. You might even have your hand on your thigh. You could feel the muscles as they engage. Feel the sense of strengthening in your front leg. Take just one more breath. Straighten that leg. Allow the kind of whoosh, the release to happen. Come back into your lunge one more time. In the lunge, press down through your foot. You might even press down and back through your back leg, back foot, and see what happens there. Some of you might like to bring your arms out wide or up if you're feeling a little playful or you want to try some more balance. You might do that and realize, you need the chair. If that's the case, just bring your hands to your chair. All good. Final breath. If you need to release before that, all good. Straighten your leg if it wasn't. However it looks, however many steps it takes, step to the top, step forward. Here, both of your feet are close by, and just start to find a little movement. You can sway a little left and right, so kind of similar to what we did earlier. Maybe you need to shake out your leg. Until you shake out your leg. Pause for a moment and just feel both of your legs. Notice how it feels. We'll switch sides. So stand in front, or with your chair in front rather, and step your other leg back. Finding this short pyramid. And these first few seconds you're here, you're moving around. You're trying to figure out how you want your lunge. Right? Rather than what should it look like or what's right. Instead, be curious. Notice what feels like your preferred choice today. Your knees, your legs, your hips. And when you found that foundation, right, your legs, your foundation, start to move in and out of your lunge. Your hands are entirely your choice, whether you want them on the chair, one on the chair, or none. Continue flowing in and out of your baby lunge. The next time you're in the active lunge, meaning your front knee is bent, stay there. Option to even have your hand on that leg. Press actively down through your front foot. Notice how that might engage muscles in your legs. Simply feel a little more stable, but also a little woo-wee. I feel those muscles. One more breath. Straighten your leg, release out. Maybe you need a deep breath. That might be like a lot. If you need to release, take a breath. Come back into it, finding your lunge. Take your own time. Come into this. Press through your front foot. You can even press through your back. See what happens there. Take a full breath in. A full breath out. Begin to release out. Straighten your leg. However it happens, bring your legs back together. It might be a few steps. You might use your hand on your chair. Make sure that you have space, especially if you're practicing with someone by your side. Take your feet wider than your hips and start to sway left and right, letting your arms be really heavy. Just swaying, just moving, twisting from your hips up through your core and your shoulders. Take a few more of these. All right, and slowly slow down. into stillness. Take your feet a little wider if you have the space. If not, where your legs were, perfectly fine. Let your toes be out facing the sides. Tilt to one side. So similar to earlier, but when you're tilting, you can let your hand come down. Slowly come up and tilt to the other side, meaning you're tilting your pelvis to the side or your hips to the side. And coming up. One more on each side. Tilt to the side. Let your hand come down to wherever it naturally goes. Coming up. And taking one more. Letting your hand come down. Coming up. Heel toe movement. Your feet back together. It's the time you've all been waiting for. Come back to your chair. Come back to your chair, or even if you'd like to sit on the floor, that would also be okay. Before resting and finding a few moments of inward reflection, essentially meditation, find a forward fold again. So take your feet, maybe the distance of your chair, and maybe just get back a little bit. We've done this once before. Hands on your thighs, lean forward. You can stay with your hands on your thighs, or you can lean forward with your forearms on your legs. Notice how this might feel different than the first one you took earlier in practice. Is it less intense? Just as? Maybe more? You could keep your head lifted as it is, or you could drop your head, letting it be heavy, letting go of effort, releasing a little tension in your neck and your shoulders. Slowly come up. If you enter forearms, bring your palms back and press yourself up like a push-up. Bring your legs closer together again. Setting up now for about a 5-minute meditation or rest. Many options for you. Simplest could be just to lean back in your chair or just to get more comfy in your chair. If it's comfortable, you can bring your feet up in your chair. Alternatively, some of you may want to sit on the floor, and for that, sit on the floor. Some of you may want to lie down. You choose however you would like to be and make your way there. You have to slow it down. Choose how you would like to rest, knowing there's definitely no right or wrong. It's simply however you're going to be most comfortable, however will feel most supportive for your rest. And so, making your way there. Depending on how comfortable you are and where you are, you may choose to close your eyes, or maybe not. Closing your eyes can sometimes simply just allow the external world to slow down a little bit and let your focus come inward. But if closing your eyes doesn't feel safe or it feels a little scary, then guess what? Just don't close your eyes. Whether you're seated or you're lying down, allow your body to relax, your body to rest. slowing down. Perhaps allowing your body almost in a way to get heavy. Heavy because you're softening and relaxing. Notice your hips, your legs, and see if you can soften, if you can relax. Feel your low back and your belly. See if you can soften to relax. Your shoulders, your neck, your throat, softening, relaxing. And as you're allowing your body to take on relative stillness, bring your awareness to your breath. Continue to breathe however you are. Just notice the breath as it comes in and out. Notice your breath in, your breath out. You might give your breath this internal phrasing, breathing in, breathing out, as you're breathing in and out as a way to stay connected, stay present with your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Allow your focus to extend towards your body, towards sensation, how you feel. Just like at the beginning of practice, mindfully checking in as a way to notice what's there. Observing and noticing what's within you, how you feel. Just like we ask friends and family members, how are you? Because we care and we want to know. We can also ask ourselves, how are you? So that we know, because we care. And in that, this practice gives us the opportunity to look towards ourselves as a friend, a practice of being friendly towards ourselves. As you sit or lay here and rest, take a moment to extend gratitude and appreciation for yourself, for showing up for you, for maybe trying something new, for being open to new experiences, and to dedicating time and effort to getting in touch with yourself, with what you need, and putting that to action. Appreciation towards yourself. If you've been lying down or seated, you might start to find a little bit of movement, wiggling fingers, toes, just slowly waking up, slowly reacclimating. If you're lying on your back, you might first roll to a side, making your way to seated if you're not there. Bring one hand towards your heart as a gesture of gratitude for yourself. And I am extending gratitude for you as well, for showing up, for choosing to practice with me, with Promise Resource Network, and even more for choosing to participate in your own wellness.